Hello everyone, so excuse the crappy video and the crappy editing. Just wanted to share something that just came in the mail. I didn't expect to get this. I know that there were a lot of people using bots in order to sell it in a secondhand market, but I got lucky. I didn't have a bunch of computers or monitors. I didn't have like a couple of phones ready. I just happened to be at work and I was just using my cell phone. I couldn't even use my work computer, mainly because my work blocks anything that has to do with games and stuff. So I was just fortunate. I was in the waiting list, and I managed to get one. I managed to pick one up. So I'm pretty happy with what I have. I know that there will be a lot of people who will be very angry about the price of the system and whatnot, which I get it. Everyone has a perspective regarding what the cost of a system should be. If I was unable to get this, I would have been completely fine with it. Presently, I think most of you know you can just walk into any of your big box stores and just pick one up. That's not the 30th edition, but I happened to just get lucky and I got it, and cool. So for those of you who are remotely curious about what one looks like coming out of the box, well, here it is. Pretty simple. Don't mind my cats just kind of roaming around, but I've never owned a PS4, a PS5. So given that this is rather pricey for what's inside, I figured that if I were to add up the cost of a PS4 at launch or a PS5 at launch, then I presume that this will be about the same cost. So again, I'm a pretty new current console owner. I presume that this will be the last PS5 that will be released. After this, I assume that Sony's going to put out PS6. I don't know if the PS6 will be backwards compatible with PS4 games. So this is why I purposely picked up the last, what I believe is to be the last generation of the PS5. So I'm pretty stoked about what I got. I also have some Nintendo products in my office. I skipped out on the Wii. I jumped from the GameCube to the Wii U because again I just figured that the Wii U could play Wii games. So in that aspect, I kind of figured the same thing. I typically again wait to the very end of a console's life cycle, if not just skip over it. That way I save a little bit of money, and truth be told, I have a pretty big backlog of games that I've still yet to crack open. But I have been quite curious about all of the wonderful graphics that I've heard that the Pro is supposed to put out. So looking forward to checking out the games and really giving my 4K TV a good test. Another big benefit to skipping a generation is, for example, there are so many PS4 games that are dirt cheap, and from my understanding, the Pro will upscale those games. Then again, Sony has been re-releasing the same titles, but just more enhanced. So I'm just kind of just waiting. I'm in no hurry to spend $60 on a new game or whatnot. I'm just holding off. I am currently waiting for the Black Friday deals that are about to drop, if already. So there are a few titles that I'm interested in and I'm going to check out at Best Buy. But I've amassed a small collection of PS4 titles that have not yet been remastered. One title that I'm interested in is the Snake Eater remaster. That I'm looking forward to. I'm not saying that I'm a huge Metal Gear fan, but I do like the franchise. So I'm really looking forward to that title. And dare I say, I've never played a Spider-Man game. I know there's going to be a lot of people that are angry at me and who will say that I should not have this system, and this should have been kept for hardcore PlayStation owners. Again, if I didn't luck out and get this, I would have been completely fine. I don't really care per se whether or not this was a 30th edition or just a regular Pro, but again, I just lucked out. The love, care, and attention that Sony put onto the box. The box is very substantial. It feels quality. I really appreciate it in terms of the price of this unit. It does feel quality. It feels substantial. As you saw earlier, the whole box in and of itself was about 26 pounds, and it's a beautiful system. So I'm not gonna discredit that. Apart from Snake Eater, I was also interested in getting God of War Ragnarok. That one looks really interesting to me. I was a big fan of those first few titles when they were released on the earlier PlayStation systems. Again, like the last most advanced system that I played is probably a Switch and a PS3. I was already blown away just by what I saw from those systems, let alone going to like my local Target and seeing PS5 gameplay. Thinking, for example, that the baseball game that I was watching was live, and it turned out to be a game. So it's just pretty incredible just how much the system's graphics have improved over the decades. Therefore, playing modern games that are pro enhanced would be on par to giving a toddler ice cream for the first time. Like everyone's had it except that toddler. So that's kind of what I feel like. I'm just a toddler. Getting introduced to a lot of games that everyone has played and beaten, and like years ago. For me, it's going to be a whole new experience. So as you can see, Sony put in a lot of nice goodies into this box. Yeah, it's a pretty nice poster. I'm not really into posters. I'm just going to store it. These are just the little things that's nice to keep and just store away. So as you can see, it comes with pretty much all your necessary cables, HDMI, power cables for charging the controllers. Here are those infamous horizontal stands that are supposed to be flimsy. But from my understanding, this does come with a stand, so I guess that should make me feel special. Yeah, and underneath is that stand that I mentioned earlier. So this is pretty nice. I was expecting it to feel very cheap, but it actually feels very solid, like made out of metal. Quality product. And glad that I didn't have to spend that $30 on that stand. Here's that disk drive cover. This is the reason why I did go with this variation, because Sony did allow me to put into the cart an external drive, and that's something that I definitely did pick up because I wanted to make sure that I can play not only the digital games available to download, but also some of the PS5 and the PS4 discs. I'm again grateful that I managed to just snag this, because apparently these are being resold by scalpers, and yeah, that's not cool. I definitely don't support, and I don't patronize any scalping prices. That's just kind of ridiculous. In my viewpoint, if I'm lucky and I'm able to land something, for the current value, or if not less, I'm cool with that. Obviously, this is the charger for the controllers, but out of sheer curiosity, what do you guys do apart from gaming out there? For myself, I'm actually an artist. I also do some woodworking and I do some cooking. Yeah, I was kind of curious what other things you do for fun. Again, the last Sony controller, the most modern one that I've ever touched in my entire life, believe it or not, is a PS3 controller. This feels very nice. The matte finish, the texture, the plastic, it feels very quality. The closest thing I could compare this to is like someone watching the Terminator 2 for the very first time. You're just like, what? This is like the greatest movie of all time. Yeah, so pretty blessed to be able to jump from a PS3 to a PS5. And speaking of which, this being the DualSense Edge wireless, when I first saw the case, I wondered why it would even come with the case, but then I forget that this thing is $200. So I could see why people would want to protect this with a nice container. And yeah, this feels really quality. The weight, again, for someone who has never held, believe it or not, I've never held a PS5 controller in my life. Yeah, this feels amazing. Yeah, this is something I'm definitely gonna take good care of. I typically keep all my boxes stored away in climate-controlled areas. One thing I never understood, I'm an 80s kid, and I remember seeing like neighbors and and just friends who, when I'd visit their place playing Nintendo, I'd open up that little door and I would see crumbs and just like food, and even while I was in middle school, and and my parents really couldn't afford the latest products. Like when everyone had a Nintendo, I had an Atari. I made sure that whenever I got my Nintendo, I took really good care of my stuff. It's just something that was always in me. So quality products need to be taken care of. After watching numerous YouTubers talk about the subtle differences between the Pro and the traditional versions, I could see why a lot of people wouldn't get it. But how many out there are like me? I mean, are you like this at all? Like, do you game every single night? I know I have a full-time job that requires a lot of my time, but I still like treating myself to nice things. Apart from video games, I also paint, I draw. I'm definitely into the arts. I do appreciate a lot of pop culture stuff. So if you like this, give it a like and have a great day.